Hey, friends who are potentially watching this um, on YouTube and Twitch. I go by the moniker Monkey Wrench, but those of you who know me know my real name. But I'm probably gonna keep anonymous, just cause I don't know. Adds more mystery and intrigue, I guess. But yeah. I'm playing Rocket League, and this is the first episode of a series I call Rocket League and Life Lessons. Unfortunately, Rocket League has to update. So I'm not going to play an actual game right now. I'm going to do some training. Because that's great. You know what? I'll do some free play for now. That'll be fun. I'll be flipping around. So you're probably wondering, Monkey Wrench, or Monkey for short, if you want to call me that, or Wrench, I guess. Why is my car so bright? Oh my god, I'm looking so white, almost as white as I actually am. Maybe I'm not that white. I am white though, so that is one bit a disclaimer, I guess. FYI. I don't know if you'd like to know the ethnicity of your YouTubers, but now you know mine. Or the race. Because white isn't really ethnic. Is it my thing? That's not the life lesson. That's a discussion y'all can have in the comments. No, don't. Or do. I don't know. This life lesson is going to be about trust. Trust, I think, is a very interesting concept. Because... Also, this is Rocket League. Rocket League is a fun game where I play rocket power guitar. Rocket power guitar. That's a real life lesson. What is a rocket power guitar? No, rocket powered car, and it's essentially rocket powered car soccer. So you try to hit this ball into the goal, and I'm so good that I got it, on the first touch. No, but no, I didn't. Of course I did, because I actually suck at this game. It's a very hard game. But, so yeah, trust. Trust is a thing that you kind of need to have in a relationship. Really any relationship, for the most part. Any relationship that you think is significant. And I feel like a lot of people really subscribe to that, that trust is something that's quintessential to any good relationship. Especially, ooh, look, I scored, oh! Especially if it's like a romantic one. But I think there's a certain misconception about certain amounts of trust. In the sense that, we're all our individuals. So I think we have to be we have to keep things to ourselves in a certain way. And my outlook on things is, let's say, what I'm talking about really only applies to typically minor things. Let's say I make a plan with somebody, right? Like, hey, you want to hang out at X date, X time, at some place, right? They're like, yeah, sounds great, right? We've essentially created a type of social contract, if you would. Where we're expecting each other to be somewhere at a assigned time, and maybe do a certain thing. So in that instance, trust is involved. And so we all have those friends, and if you're that friend, this video is not shaming you. In fact, this video is kind of, in a way, defending you, who sometimes will flake. And sometimes will not show up on the time and not show up at the date. They subscribed or will cancel at the last second. And I think this has gotten easier due to technology because, my parents' generation, you only really had a home phone. They didn't grow up with cell phones. So when you flaked on somebody, it really sucked because then they were just sitting at the place or the bar or whatever. They wanted to meet up, and you had no way to contact them last minute to tell you wanted to cancel. Or, to some, that might have forced them to go. you know, if they didn't have a valid reason to not go. But I want to say, like, you know, in this generation, I definitely have a lot of friends who flake a lot. You know, and like, that's fine. Sometimes I'm the friend who flakes, and I think that's also fine. What I think, because at the end of the day, we all live an individual life, you know, in the sense that our perception of reality is through the lens of our own mind, right? And because of that, there are circumstances and things about ourselves that we want to keep private, or, you know, we just put ourselves in these social situations and then we kind of want to get out of them. And I think that, like, there are people who get really upset about people who flake. And the reason I don't get upset about people who flake as much is my proclivity to sometimes be a person who flakes, but also this understanding that I have that, for me, a friend is somebody who isn't necessarily always there when I need them, right? But there when it really counts. In the sense that, like, I feel like I can trust them with certain things. They're in the sense that, like, I feel like I can have my emotions exist in space and time and have them not judge me for it and have them embrace my emotion, right? For me, that's the biggest thing about friendship. You know, if I can be true with you, if I can feel myself, I can be myself, who I truly am, and not feel judged and not feel hurt, you know, by that, then I feel like that's a true friendship. And in that regard, that doesn't necessarily require you to, like, be there necessarily in person. Now, that is reinforced when we hang out, when we talk. But when I've hung out with you enough times, I get an understanding of who you are as a person, and I know that you don't judge me as a person. Well, not that it's necessarily a judge, but you accept me for who I am. That I'm a valid person in your eyes, both my emotions and my intentions. And though this is not to say that you always agree with me, because I don't think you should always agree with your friends. I think a friend group that can have healthy debates and have serious conversations as well as funny ones is a really good and healthy thing. But what I mean by this is I didn't have that all the time. Wow. What I mean by that is that, you know, you respect where I'm coming from, and you can disagree with me if you want, but you still validate my experiences, you still validate my emotions. For me, that's the biggest thing about friends, and for me, that's the biggest thing about trust, right? Because to me, you only really break that trust when I saw something in you that I thought was valid, and that I thought, and like, that I trust, and then you don't believe in my emotions, or when you break that agreement of that you accepting who I am emotionally and physically, or if you display attributes that are different to who I initially thought you were emotionally and physically, and that those new attributes are things I can't agree with. For me, that's when you're breaking trust. So if you flake on a meeting, you know, on a hangout, for me, that's not breaking trust. To me, that's not what trust is. To me, that was just a circumstance where you didn't want to hang out that day. Now, if it turns out this happens all the time, then I kind of realize that maybe you don't want to be my friend, and that's fine too. And like, maybe you don't want to come face to face with me, and then I just don't hang out with you as much. Maybe we hang out in passing, and we're nice to each other, that's totally fine. But if we are hanging out, and that's cool too. But to me, that's not a violation of trust, right? And I think that it's a fine thing. Now, you can disagree with me, it's totally fine. Everybody has their interpretations of what they want from people who are close to them. But now let's say, like, so now this is a different scenario, right? We're in a romantic relationship. I'm in a lovely relationship with my significant other, who I love a lot. But actually, even this night, we agreed to talk at a certain time, and I was streaming a video game, because, you know, I stream all the time now. No, it was like my first stream, and I kind of want to try it out, and I had some people and I said I was going to do it, and I thought I could do the call and the stream at the same time for whatever odd reason. It didn't work out, so I asked to reschedule, and they were kind of disappointed. And I kind of broke that contract we set up, right? That we were going to talk at a certain time, and then I kind of didn't. But this doesn't shatter our trust. You know, I know they still trust me, and I still trust them. And they kind of just accept me as a person who sometimes does these things. But they still validate my emotions, and they still respect who I am as a person. So I think I think these are two different things, right? What I'm describing as trust is different than breaking like a social contract to meet up. To me, that's just like another thing. It's not a big deal. To some people, it is a big deal, and that's totally fine. Love to hear your thoughts, I guess, in the comment section below. I don't even know who's seen this video. So if nobody, I think it would just be a fun series that I could kind of do before I do my big series where I'm doing the role-playing thing and the remaster of Skyrim. So tell me if you like it. I'll probably post this up on Facebook maybe tomorrow. But yeah, Monkey Ranch out.